We were on for 9 years, but people never really regarded us like it was almost like mashed potatoes. Like it's a staple and it's always there and it's always offered.
Yeah.
But it's not the steak. I ain't wearing little black girl
This
as an
beautiful
equal.
melanin goddess that's before me. Hello. Coming up on another act, I chat with Kim Fields about her hilarious new series, The Upshaws, how important her representation has been in Hollywood, and what she has coming up next. Kim, I'm just going to say it. The Upshaws is amazing. And I don't think that we've ever seen a situational comedy this real ever. Obviously, the freedom of streaming plays a large part in that. But as a TV vet, I'm imagining that you felt the same way when this project first came to you. Did you? Tell me a little bit about that.
That's exactly what happened, Kelly. I definitely felt like I hadn't seen this before, and certainly I hadn't played this character. And even though people will say, that I'm this veteran in sitcoms or comedy, I hadn't had this type of comedy, this tone, this realness, all of those things. And so that's really what made me say yes, because I felt like I was going into uncharted territory, uncharted waters, and doing a deep dive in these uncharted waters. At this stage in my career, that's really all I want to do.
Yeah. How did this come to you?
I was in LA at the end of 2019 doing a press tour for my Christmas movie. And while I was here, and I was only here for like 2 days, and my manager said they'd like to invite you to do a chemistry session with Mike Epps and Wanda Sykes for their new series on Netflix. Okay. And those three, names right there, Mike Epps, Wanda Sykes, Netflix, that's gonna make you go, let me just see what this is about. We did the chemistry session with Mike, and Wanda was there, and it just felt really right. And so they made the offer, and it was just kind of a love at first sight in terms of at the project.
At some point over the course of your career, you started directing. How does your lens as a director play a part into the projects that you gravitate towards as an actor?
If I'm not asked to direct, then they don't. Quite honestly, they're two very separate hats that I wear, and then the third hat of executive producer. So if I'm not asked to wear a hat, I ain't wearing it. I got plenty to do when I'm wearing each hat. So I don't need to, commingle. But for example, with this, it's not like I was looking at this through a director's lens. I was only looking at it as actress or as actor, and looking at, again, what are uncharted waters for me as actor, and going after it that way.
You're honestly a Hollywood triple threat, so multi-layered and talented, and that barely really even touches the surface of what you've lent to Hollywood. Is there a lane that you enjoy particularly more than others? And if not, how do you kind of balance and decide, I'm going to put my energy into producing right now, I'm going to put my energy into directing or into acting? Like, how does that work out for you?
I enjoy it all because I'm a craftsman. So whether I'm doing it as, the actor, the director, the producer, I don't have a preference or a sweeter spot in my sweet spot. Sometimes it's scheduling. When our boys were younger, it was a little bit more difficult to dedicate myself to a project as director or producer, because that's just a longer time commitment. And so now as they've gotten older, I can, do that a bit more. Sometimes it's no, I'm tired. I don't want to do anything but act. My focus is always very strong on a project, but if it's something where I'm not able to multitask, or I don't want to multitask, then I don't. So those are kind of the parameters that we work off of.
Yeah. How has motherhood changed how you approach projects and what you say yes to? Has it been a big factor in your
No,
process?
no. I mean, real talk, it hasn't, it's not like, oh, I'm looking at wholesome projects, and not at all, honey. I was, people saw me, I was pregnant and out on location and filming and directing. My kids have had passports their entire lives, traveling as infants. And, so it wasn't so much like I had to make all these adjustments once, we started our families. Oh, no. This is what we do before you got here, and we will continue to do while you are here. And I really believe, just made their lives a lot more richer and certainly more adventurous.
At what point did you realize the importance of a character like Tootie? When did you understand the significance of your representation and your contribution?
Only in recent history.
Mm.
Not at all while it was happening. The thoughts are, keep doing well in school, know your lines, be professional, do the things that mom said to do to, make her proud on the set, make sure nobody overlooks Aunt Pat, who was always on set with me. That's all the stuff that was in my head. So you don't know when it's happening. To the best of my knowledge, most people that they assign monikers like trailblazer, history maker, you don't know that it's happening in the moment. And nowadays we set it up, we tee it up like that almost immediately.
Yeah.
But and especially back in 70s, 80s, you don't know that. You're just thinking you're going to work and you're making a TV show and you're doing what you love to do. And that's it. So it wasn't until much later, I mean, long after Facts of Life even ended, even in the golden age of fan mail, it wasn't a thing of representation and nice to see someone that looks like me, because people didn't think of it in those terms. It was just, oh my gosh, I think you're so funny. I love what you do on Facts of Life. I want to skate too. And,
what did the haircut?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you don't, it's not put into those kind of, that's not the lens that you're given to look through back then. When people would say, I wanted to wear my hair like you and things, even when during living single, when in the earlier weeks that we met, and Erica Alexander says to me, you don't know the impact. You don't know how I wore my hair like yours and things like that nature. It wasn't until at a Boys to Men concert when I first met who would become my sister, Zinzi Mandela. And she said, you don't know what you did for us in South Africa. Wow. To see a little Black girl as an equal with the white girls, and to live in the same house and go to the same school and be treated completely as equal. I think that's when. So, okay, that's the long ass answer. Here's the short answer. When was the NE Heartbreak Tour? Was that the Boys to Men tour?
That would be like 1989, I'm gonna say. And I hate that I feel like I know that.
whenever the Boys to Men tour happened, that's one of the oh my goodness moments where you realize it was impactful. And here's the other reason why. Facts of Life was never considered a success like that. Like, we were on for 9 years, but people never really regarded us like, it was almost like mashed potatoes. Like, it's a staple and it's always there and it's always offered. But it's not the steak, it's not the shrimp, it's not the this. And so you always had that sense of a little bit overlooked, if I'm real about it. So all the things you're saying now in terms of how it impacted. I mean, I marvel when I see on Twitter when, like Netflix will ask a question, something like, what character do you remember first feeling like represented you? And I'm always in that list. And I'm just like, wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. I'm glad you're getting, celebrated like that right now, because it is very challenging for me not to spit out lines from facts of life in my head right now that stayed with me all these years later because of its importance, whether or not you understood that as a young child actor. But I'm glad that you're hearing that from people right now. Kim Fields, what's next for you? What else are you working on?
We have our coffee line, Kim Signature Blends by KF. And so I have a line of coffee and teas and dry rubs for, cooking.
You have to be specific.
No. So with what people can do with your product. Thank you.
That's amazing. Kim Fields does more than work in Hollywood. She is working on our wellness too. I love all of that. And I love you. Thank you so much for doing this today, Kim. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Talk soon.